So Raw felt really different. Like, I'm not even. I was gonna be like, Raw was kind of a dud. Not really. And I was like, Raw was like really fast paced, kinda. Then just I don't know. Raw was just. I think it's really this 2 hour thing. And on one hand, it's like, okay, cool. You got to be there for 3 hours, but Raw's been really good in this 3 hour window that's been here lately. And I don't know. It seemed like there was a lot. I was like, maybe because it's only 2 hours, it seemed like there was a lot of promos and video packages than it normally is, to be honest. Uh, I was like, and is that because they can't get the wrestlers on anymore? So it's just like, hey, give them a quick video package, or it's actually meaningful, Like, there was a video package for Dragon Lee. I he ain't doing nothing. He ain't doing nothing tonight. I was like, he's in the tag team match with Rey Mysterio next week. So it's kind of like, okay, is it kind of that? Which also, by the way, LWO have a tag team. Why aren't they a tag team in the tag team match? Why is it Ray and Dragon Lee? This is sort of almost like what Judgment Day is doing, but it's not like it's almost like it's different than Bloodline. To me, Judgment Day and Bloodline tag team titles are different because at least in the Bloodline they do have the two lesser people having the titles in Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, which is crazy because Tama Tonga was actually at a point Jacob Fatu, but we don't forgot about him like that. But with the Judgment Day, it's on Finn and JD when it probably should be on Finn. I mean, not Finn, JD and Carlito. That's how I should see it. The same thing with LWO. Why it's on your main star. New Day's kind of different because one is only two people. And if it not, I was like, guess what? It probably would have been Big E and Xavier Woods if that had been the case. Or depending on whoever, or Big E would have been able to continue his rise. Maybe it would have been just on those two. I'm just saying they have a tag team in their division. I mean, in their group. That don't make any sense. But no, they also had a video package for Braun that was, man, iffy. I got it. I really don't like him being like, that's why I don't use the name because it really does feel weird. But I guess it's like actors, how they make sure that their name is different than their parents so that you don't get I guess the nepotism confusion type of thing. They can make it on their own or whatnot. And then we got Damage Control and Bianca and Jay, which I wish they would just get a damn tag team. Um, but at least that one I guess makes sense because they always have done a couple of video packages before the match that day of or whatever. Yeah. So I was like, it's also the video package. I didn't like it either. To be honest, it felt really weird at the beginning. You could tell it's not for a pay per view. That it's just for a TV show. That you could tell different. Um, yeah, no, I was like, it just you had that, you had the Bronson Reed sit down, and I was like, to me, that was also a little different too, because instead of him, I was like, it's one of them things where they try to humanize the person, and I'm just like, I don't think that everybody needs to be damn humanized. Everybody don't need to be shown. I am like some type because it's like basically instead of him just causing chaos and we knowing that his motivation is basically like, oh, I gotta make a name for myself. It's very simple. It basically just sounds like I need to show you that I can be the top guy at WWE at the top of this company. I gotta show you that I can be in these main events and stuff like that. And I was just like, oh, here we go. We're being like so sincere with it. Where instead it should just be like, yo, this is your fault. You didn't put me in any prominent spots and I just want to cause destruction. I'd be like, yeah, that's right. Let's just cause destruction or whatever like that. This whole like, oh, you got. I was like, it was also the tone, not necessarily just the words. I sort of said it in a different way, but it's also just the tone of it. Like it made it sound like, hey, my bad. I know. I be over here messing things up, causing destruction. I'm sorry about that. But it's really just because I really just want to have my fair chance. And I was like, oh my God. Come on, man. You was over here destroying rings and stuff. You was over here putting people on shelves. Keep putting people on shelves. That's what I want you to do. I was like, dang. I was like, act like a collector and put shit on shelf. Please, that's what you do. Do that. Don't do any of this. Like, no, I'm done. I'm done with that. There. And of course, American Made got theirs as well too. See, I was like, where it's like, oh, they have their their annual little American Made little promo joint, which I was like, it was fun. I was like, I enjoyed it. It was basically here and there. They got theirs like every week, kind of thing. But then they went to, I was like, and I guess backstage doesn't really count, because at least with all, I was like, at least that one within the flow of the show, where this one is literally like 5 of them, and they were all sort of like back to back too. It wasn't just like, oh, here's one match. It was like, nah, let's get them all out the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like yeah, or whatever. But Raw was okay. Raw was okay. It wasn't. I was like, it wasn't anything crazy to speak home about or nothing like that. In a way, I don't think nothing was crazy or whatever. We did get Yeet to know Yeet. Jamie did show up on Raw to talk to Jay, which it also seemed like there has been some other kind of conversations beforehand. And I don't mean like conversations like he picked up like what you want, bro. I mean like he could look at his phone and he can see, he's like, man, I ain't answering that. Or what we all sort of do, where just like you look at the phone and you like, it's somebody you want to talk to, but they send a text message and you look at it and you're like, man, there ain't no emergency. I don't want to talk to you. I was like, I thought you were gonna call me because mom's or something, or Kishi or something like that. You like, can we talk? No, I don't want to talk to you like that. Tell me when it's something important that I gotta be there for. Yeah, I was like, and then he just going in. Jimmy just was, after Jay walked away from Jimmy, just going around looking in all rooms and stuff like that. Like where there's possibly people doing God knows what or whatever. Not saying they over here on some McMahon type shit, but at the same time, I'm just like, yo, you pop up in my like, what's going on here, man? Why you in here? But yeah, so we're gonna see how that build goes. I was like, hopeful. I was like, I don't know. They're speed rushing. They're speed rushing this to me, just like how they did this episode of Raw. That I don't. I was like, I think this is gonna be where we're gonna get the weird. Like I talked about in my another video of like the Triple H long term booking, and then now he's over here being like, okay, I already got this in place, so let's get this. Let's start this fire. Let's start this fire because stuff how I thought they were going to play out is actually moving a lot quicker than I thought. I was like, not Jimmy showing up to help Roman, but like Roman already being cool with Jimmy already being like so cool back with Roman, when it's kind of like, I feel like you could do something there where it's like, it's not like everything was easy during like their time, even after he came back to try to join the bloodline. He really wasn't being looked at like that, and we'll see how fast this goes, because Jay, for all purposes, can just act like he don't even want to fuck with the man. So, hey. Yeah, no, so I was like, we had Rhea come out and then Tiffany come out basically to start the show or whatever. And then they get their ass whooped by Liv and Raquel. And I'm glad that in the tag match later on that basically, hey, Nia did show up and start wrecking shop. And outside of Tiffany, I do think it is funny that we're about to go to Crown Jewel, where last year it was Nia, Raquel, Shayna, Zoe, and I was like, there was somebody else. I don't think it was Liv. I think she was hurt. But I was like, could have been Liv. But I was like, somebody else. And I was like, but they had 5 women in this match. It's crazy now that we're back here about to go to Crown Jewel and we got Raquel, Liv, Tiffany, Nia, Rhea. I was like, I get you. We got to get all these women on the show. I was like, but at least it's within the prominent line or whatever like that. But no, it was that. I was like, it was a really fun match. I really did like seeing Rhea and Tiffany being mismatched with each other just because they are. I was like, they really like are different, not just the golf aesthetic versus like the Barbie aesthetic, but also just like they're both hot headedness or whatever. But I was like their personalities is very cheerleader versus like I was like outcast in a sense sort of way like that. I was like Mean Girl. Dang a Mean Girl. I was like she's the one at the lunch table with all the girl that's like we only wear this on Wednesday, and Rhea's the one that's over here just like, ugh, can you believe them? Why would they even act like that? But I was like, no. I was like, good match ended by, I was like, Tiffany, I was really hoping, and I'm one of they are going to pull it just because, like, I also said in another video that I'm like, they could prolong this Rhea Liv thing more if they kind of have Tiffany beat Liv. While yes, you don't get the tension and all that stuff that's been brewing with Nia and Tiffany and whatever that match will eventually be, or the cash in from that, because I think that's where they're actually gonna go. But I think that over here, Tiffany gets her championship because she's going to get it regardless. She's going to win her championship. But you can prolong the the Liv Rhea thing, and also Rhea can still get that title at some. Now she could really get that title at some point because she's going to beat, she's going to beat Liv and be done with this. She's going to get her title, but it just helps that get drawn out more because it's gonna get tiring of Rhea just coming out, calling them to beat their ass, or just beating their ass on the regular. They're beating their ass just out of nowhere. It's just gonna get tiring. I was like, speaking of another women's tag team match that also got that had an interference. I was like, Damage Control, Bianca and Jade. I was like, on one hand, they could say that they weren't beaten like fairly because NXT metaphor, which is really disappointing because I'm like, there's only two of them, so I wish there was two more people in the group, and maybe there is. I just don't watch NXT. I just seen what they showed up. I mean, but I do like the name metaphor. It'd just be cool if it was just, instead of the meta too. But anyway, they interfered with Damage Control, which is more surprising that they did that, considering that their beef really is with, or their fight is really with Bianca and them. So that was able to give them the chance to retain their championship. Which on one hand, I was like, I knew that Damage Control was going to win it, especially here. I was like, the NXT crew, I was like, I guess maybe they're not going to be the ones that win the tag team titles. They're not going to have, like, if Chelsea and Piper got it, yeah, maybe. But they're not going to have them winning or whatever. But maybe this is how to get them and Damage Control, prominent spot, that whole type of thing. So we'll see on that one. I was like, Kofi and Braun, that was really another match. It was a good match, but it was another match. I was like, where basically we just sort of get to really do the Jay thing. And also Xavier Woods coming out. He didn't shake Jay's hand, but he basically sort of not like, appreciate you showing up. Like, yeah, I know this is fine, not a match kind of thing or whatever. And I was like, we got Cody and Gunther, and this was really just, this is sort of where I missed like the 3 hours of Raw, because I'm like, there could have been a couple more matches in this here, because all they did was they basically said how good Gunther basically rubbed Cody's back, the whole time. No Diddy on some baby oil type shit. But then Cody sort of just returned the favor. And I was like, okay. Nobody really didn't say anything really that's really worth anything. Oh, you're a secondary champion, Gunther said to Cody. Man, it is what it is from that one. Yeah, I was like, I wonder who's gonna really win, or what the finish will be. But because I was like, you want to keep both people strong, so that'd be interesting to see. And we also had Miz face R-Truth, which R-Truth rolled him up because of the Final Testament, and Miz got mad. And something else, that if it was a 3-hour Raw, hey, fine, cool. 2-hour Raw, I don't really care in that instance, just because I was like, beat his ass backstage or something. I mean, and also we had Alpha Academy face the returning and the returning. They had like a triple returning. They had a returning of the tag team, a returning of Eric, and a returning of War Raiders. Now they got the name back, and I don't know if it's because the audience is familiar with them anymore like that. Because you can hear it's a little bit in the crowd. They're like war, 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 but their whole thing used to be like war, 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 and I was like, is that because we got to get to train them back up, or is it also sort of the reason that that the name got taken away? Because you don't want to be in the front of camera yelling war, 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 while there's kind of one going on in two different parts of the world, which is why the name got taken away in the first place. Just saying, we'll see how that goes. Also, before it's done, I will say, are we going to get Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble? Reason I say that, not just because of people who just be on the internet just be speculating or being like, I can't wait for a return and all this other stuff, blah, blah. I know that there's those issues or whatever like that, the alleged stuff, but WWE seems fine in a way that makes it seem like not him. But the reason I say that is because in two instances tonight, we got Beast references. Seth Rollins, who was answering back to Bronson Reed about, I need to stay on top. Young people always trying to get from me. I don't want to way to stay on top. And by people like that sharpen my iron kind of thing. Whoa, pause. But in there, he said I've slain Beast. Nothing really to take from that, because hey, it's not wrong. That is what he's done. Because he basically said, I've slain Beast. And, time to slay a monster. I forgot the first one he named in the first one. But, hey, whatever. He was naming creatures. But then Cody also, and his thing to Gunther was like, oh, I've slain Beast. And it's not like, like I slay demons. I slain beasts. I slain something. Well, I put some Dr. Seuss in there. But they both said beast, so that who they were actually talking about. They were talking about Brock Lesnar. And I was like, look, especially in this new age of Triple H, you can't just let that be like blind to your ears. I know doesn't make sense, but it does. Think about it. You have two Brock Lesnar references in the same night. Now, this was I even say there might have been a chance if it was like this week one, this week another one, or something like that. Then it'd be like, that's also. But for them to have it, maybe you know what? Maybe he's doing bad. Maybe he's like, if I do one and then I do one, I was like, nothing. It's like I was like, two positives makes a negative. No, for real. But I was like, maybe that's what it is. Maybe he'll do some reverse where it's like they basically cancel out, because he's like, oh, people gonna speculate now because I said two of them. Because if it just been one, I wouldn't even thought of it. It wouldn't have even done that. I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. That's just part of his promo. But two people did it, and I was like, that's two tonight. Anyway, just a thought. But yeah, Raw was really it was really fast. Which, speaks to the 2-hour nature, but a lot of it was really nothing. Except for, like, the Jada Jimmy, the Rhea Tiffany, Liv stuff. I was like, the women's tag team match. A little bit of War Raiders. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see how this, I was like, and they joined back up because they got this little tag team match. So we'll see how that really goes up. I really wish they would just put the tag team titles to also like the women's, because it'd probably make it more fun. But anyway, we'll see how the rest of wrestling goes. So peace. I'm out.